Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
And new undisputed UFC Middleweight Champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
All right, Luis J. Gomez. What's going on, buddy? Welcome to the show, everybody. By the way, Thursday morning here. Nice day. Not a lot to say. Luis J. Gomez, what's going on?
Hey. Not a lot to say. Nice day. Luis J.
Just lay by the bay. Make things out of clay. We just may. What do you say? I love that.
I know. What was that movie?
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore. Yes.
You will go to sleep, or I will put you to sleep.
I watched that with my son, and his mom got mad at me. I talked to him about it this morning, about watching it again, maybe. And he's like, Dad, that was a really inappropriate scene where he signed the girls, you know. I was like, her boobs.
Literally,
like,
in my house, anytime anyone says, this hurts or that hurts, or Lucas comes up and says, this hurts, the response is, and now they know it's going to come. I say, well, now your back's going to hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty. Basically, shut up, come at me when you got a real injury. Anyway, enough Happy Gilmore chat. What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much, just enjoying it. My son is here. It's summertime. He's in basketball camp, which is great. It's very difficult for me because I wasn't a jock at all. I was like the anti-jock. I hated all the jock.
Come on, you don't say. I don't believe that. You were the star athlete in school. Come on, Lewis.
But not only just not being athletic, it was like the mindset. Like I was like, oh, fuck those jock kids. I didn't like them. Like in high school, like I looked at the kids who were like good at sports as dickheads.
Same.
And so now when I drop them off to play basketball, like I look at all the kids, I'm like, oh, these are all fucking assholes. They're all like little sporty dickhead. And my kid's like sweet and smart. He likes playing music, but he wants to play basketball as well. And I want to encourage him to do it because I think it's actually really, really good for him.
Oh, it is good for them. And before, I don't mean to interrupt you before you get to your point, because I'm sure you have a point and this is going somewhere.
No, I never have a point.
But as a child, fair enough, I used to look at the sporty types as like dickheads, and they were my enemies because they all came from the perfect families. They all had perfectly gelled hair, much like me today. And they all came from the perfect families, and they had nice cars and nice shoes and yada, yada, yada. But now as a grown man, I don't look at those children as dickheads, Lewis. I look at those as nice, young, sweet, aspiring athletes. I've grown up to be a man. When I was a kid, I was probably jealous of their ability, so I didn't like them. But now as a man, I don't look as James's teammates as dicks.
It's difficult to not get at that mindset.
Are you calling 10-year-old boys dicks?
They might be. They probably are. To be honest with you, actually, no, really. Well, he came home with a story. I don't want him to hear me say this because he doesn't know that I know this. He told his mom. So I guess the second day that he was at basketball camp, I guess one of the kids passed him the ball, or maybe he passed the ball when he wasn't supposed to, or whatever, and the team got like annoyed with him. They did the thing where they're like, come on, So he came home kind of upset, being like, oh, they were mad at me. And it's just, it's so hard to not go in there and start punching these children in their little dickhead faces. Oh,
Devil's avocado.
So Devil's avocado, please.
Should have passed the ball. Devils, you know what I mean? Maybe he cost them a good point. They set it up perfectly. They were killing the game. They were about to score. And James is like, no, I'm a Gomez. I'm keeping hold of this ball. I'm trying to take all the glory for myself. And they're like, James, what the hell, man? You totally cost us the game. And now he goes home and cries. And you're going to cry about it further on the podcast. What you need to do is sit him down and say, listen, there is no runner-up medals in life. Okay, simple as that. And you cost them the game. You cost them the season. They worked hard, diligently all year. And you fucking blew it, James. So, yeah, you got backlash. You want to talk about backlash, Lewis? There's England players getting called racist, abusive names in the UK for missing a penalty. But, listen, James and the basketball guy, I get it. And by the way, I'm joking. I'm not being insensitive. But what do you want me to do?
No, honestly, he really does have to toughen up. Like, we were like throwing the ball around. He's like afraid of the ball. He's afraid of the ball.
No, bless him.
I know.
I remember when we went in to see Callum's teacher when he was just a little kid, because he was a gentle little thing. And Rebecca's a gentle little thing as well. She never really gets worked up or mad or angry about anything, thank God. But when we went in there, the teacher said, Callum needs to toughen up. because he was getting bullied, and the teacher said he needs to toughen up. And that was the one time Rebecca was like, whoa, 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 what do you mean he needs to toughen up? These kids are picking on him. He's coming home. He's telling me the names that he's being called. And your response is that my child needs to toughen up. How about you speak to the other kids about not being abusive little assholes?
Devil's advocate?
Go ahead.
Probably could have toughened up a little.
He has. He'll kick your fucking ass.
He'd probably agree now. I was like, you know what? To be honest with you, thinking about it, it probably made him a tougher kid overall.
So what is the moral of the story? Sit James down and say, listen, get your shit together. You're letting down the family name. If they don't pass you the ball, take the ball. If you get the ball, pass it maybe or don't pass it. Whatever you do in life, stand by your decisions, okay? You want to take the ball and run with it? Fucking do it, and I hope you score. But if you don't, just realize that your mates might say, come on, James, you got to play the game.
James, they pass you that ball, you kick it over the fence, and you throw 2 middle fingers in the air like Nick Diaz would.
When I used to play football at school, soccer, for you guys, that was my, well, I had a few allegations against me as a player. First of all, I was too,
Easy, Bisping.
Yeah. First of all, I was too rough. So there's that, and I probably was. Cropping, they used to call it. I used to crop everybody, running with my, my size 12s and just fucking be too rough. And yeah, same as James, I was too greedy. I would never pass the ball. You know why I would never pass the ball?
Same as James, I was too greedy.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. You're being greedy with the ball.
Greedy son of a bitch.
Yeah, but you know why I would never pass the ball? Because you never fucking passed me the ball. Because I was shit. I wasn't good. I wasn't athletic. I had 2 left feet, as we say in football. So when I did get the ball, fuck that. I've just got it. I'm not touching it for a second. I want my moment of glory. The best memory I have from primary school is being a defender in a big game that we had where I didn't get picked for the team very often, but I did. And I ran from fucking my goal line all the way to the other side, fucking scored a goal, didn't pass it to no one, but that motherfucker went in. And the teacher still gave me a lecture for not passing the ball. I'm like, what do you mean? I fucking scored.
I'm the same exact way. I have that story probably maybe 30 times, except I didn't score. It was like playing basketball, and I just chuck it up and I miss. And everyone's like, you fucking idiot. But I get the feeling. I would never get the ball, so when they finally give it, you're like, you just shoot it up. Are you good at basketball? I cannot imagine you being good at basketball at all.
No, I've never really played basketball. There was a youth club, the Trin, that I used to go to as a kid.
Yeah.
It was kind of my breeding ground for getting into fights, actually. But they had a basketball court. And again, no finesse, no skills, never been coached in basketball ever in my life. I do enjoy watching it, but no. I reckon I could be good if I applied myself, but no, I haven't done that.
You're a professional athlete, so I think you could probably train your body to do, most things. Maybe. I mean, I said that about like when Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture were on Dancing with the Stars. I was like, I bet you they're going to be okay because they're athletes. And with the proper training, you have awareness of your body, but they danced exactly how you thought they would. They were fucking just clunky and just boxy, and
which is just so sorry, go on.
No, please. But that's
I was gonna say, because it's kind of weird, because I totally get that, because I am kind of clumsy. If Rebecca was here, she'd tell you, oh my god, he's the most clumsiest asshole ever. I was kind of clumsy. My older brother Conrad was 10 times more clumsy than me. Adam, my brother, he's also clumsy. You know what I mean? So I am a rather clumsy guy. But then when I'm doing martial arts, when I put the gloves on or I get on the mat or whatever, then I have coordination, and I'm very, very good. And Perillo used to say, what did he say? Oh, you got the most rhythm out of any white guy I've ever seen in my life. But it's true. But anything else, yeah, I've got 2 left feet.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I wonder if I could beat you in a one-on-one basketball game.
Definitely not. Never in a million years.
You don't think so? You've never even played, really.
Listen, when I go to the fair, right, and you have those little things, and you gotta shoot it. I'm pretty good at getting that fucking ball in, right? I do, and I win a lot of teddy bears. I go to Knott's Berry Farm, which is like, yes, Brian.
Just feels very familiar. I feel like you've made this bet before.
We did this on Legion of Skanks, but we bet a gun in the butt. I don't think Bisping's going to make that bet with us.
Listen, whatever you want to do in your spare time, that's good for you. Okay, but sticking a weapon that will kill you up the inside of my anus is not somewhere I want to go to. No, if I go to the fair, I can win a few teddies. But when I do it, anyone that I'm with, like a buddy of mine who's American that's obviously played basketball, we don't really play it in the UK, they just die laughing. I'm like, what are you laughing at? I scored. They're like, well, first of all, you don't call it scoring. Secondly, you throw like a woman. It's like, that is not how you throw a basketball. I'm like, but it goes in.
I think I could beat you in basketball.
Well, fucking give it a try, baby boy. We ain't
I'm
sticking
not good.
guns or any kind of
there's no weapons
objects up an asshole when we're done. Okay?
I know. Look, I know who I'm playing with. Okay,
you ain't playing with me. You may compete against me in basketball. Stop with the sexual innuendos, please.
So this tournament will be sponsored by Blue Chew. And listen, I think that, and I'm terrible at basketball, but I think the fact that I'm American and I grew up at the very least playing with my friends, like we'd go to the court and play, and I was always the worst, always the last picked. I'm not athletic at all. You know that firsthand. But because you have no experience like dribbling, you've never really dribbled and played one-on-one basketball.
I can dribble a basketball. I've got a what do you call it? A hoop on my driveway.
I was trying to say I have a dribbling trophy.
A plethora of trophies in the background. No, I have a hoop or whatever you call it, a hoop on my driveway from the people that used to live here. Do you know what I mean? So you pull up at my house, you go, oh, there's a guy that knows about basketball. Listen, I got a bad wrist. I'm left-handed. I will beat you. There is no way on this earth I'm faster, I'm fitter, right? I might not score, but I will definitely just take the ball off you all the time.
You can't know. That's not beating me. It's whoever gets to 11 first.
I will beat you off, but go on.
You'll beat me off. What are we going to bet here? I think this is actually a great challenge. I want to know if I could beat you. You're a professional athlete, but you just have never played basketball before. This is hilarious.
We'll figure it out. We got a lot of stuff to get to, but we will do that. Next time I see you in person, we'll go on the driveway, buddy. We'll go for it.
I'll be in LA in a couple weeks, baby.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see if you're willing to put a gun up your ass or not. All right. Let's just take a quick second to hear from Hydro Jug. Hydro Jug is a unique water bottle designed to help you drink more and refill less. Listen, everyone needs to drink more water. You got to stay hydrated, but it's good for your body. Believe it or not, if you're trying to lose weight, water is one of the main ingredients that you need. Not only does it flush out your body, but it actually aids in the chemical process of breaking down the fat cells. There you go. When you've been a professional fighter for many years and dealt with a lot of nutritionists, you hear that stuff all the time. But listen, the Hydro Jug, it holds half a gallon of water, which means less refills. The wide mouth opening makes it easy to add supplements, ice, or maybe your thirst-quenching electrolyte flavor, which you want to add to the jug, Lewis.
I'll tell you right now, it really is a beautiful water bottle. It has a strap on it, so you don't look. If you want to carry a gallon of water around, that's fine. You look like a weirdo. You look like Harrington. This has a great strap on it. It's got a little slot for your cell phone as well. So if you want to take it on a jog, it's great. I really do love my Hydro Jug. Now that I'm working out all the time, I need water constantly. So it really is great to have that big of a water bottle as well. I'll tell you right now, it's awesome. Harrington should be the Hydro Jug spokesperson because he's never seen without his Hydro Jug.
Well, it's dishwasher safe, and Harrington doesn't own one, so I don't know why he's got a Hydro Jug, but still, it is dishwasher safe. It's BPA free, meaning basically no chemicals or plastic in your body. I'll say it again. Every time you drink from a plastic bottle, little microscopic molecules going into your body. I don't want plastic in my body. By the way, it's leak proof, and it also contains a measurement scale if you are like a bit of a weirdo and you're measuring everything out. Basically, everyone has water bottles. They have a hydro flask. Rebecca doesn't leave the house without a bloody hydro flask. Let me tell you, that doesn't hold your mobile phones. That doesn't have a cool design. It doesn't have adjustable strap carriers, even though she's always complaining, oh, I'm holding my hydro. Michael, hold my hydro. This way, throw that bad boy over your shoulder. No problem. All you got to do.
No, you're texting, you're driving, you got your Hydro Jug over your shoulder. You got
like, there goes a real go-getter. There's a man that's got his shit together. And if you want to look like that, go to thehydrojug.com, enter the code Bisping. You will get 10% off your order. Thehydrojug.com. Bisping is the code if you want to get 10% off. Okay, let's get back into it. Lots going on in the world of mixed martial arts. We've got fights this weekend, of course. Islam Makhachev taking on Thiago Moises. We'll get into that in a little bit. But, of course, the biggest man in the world of combat sports right now, as we know, is Conor McGregor. We had a lot to talk about with McGregor on Monday or Tuesday, as it were. But there's more updates. And he's still here in California. He had surgery and he went to Instagram and gave a little update. So let's take a look for those people that haven't heard. Brian.
People are asking me, when was the leg broke? At what point did the leg break? Ask Dana White, ask the UFC, ask Dr. Davidson, the head doctor of the UFC. They knew I had stress fractures in my leg going into that cage. There was debate about pulling the thing out because I was sparring with no shin pads and I kicked the knee a few times. So I had multiple stress fractures in the shin bone above the ankle. And then I have trouble with the ankle anyway, do you know what I mean? Throughout the years of fucking fighting all the time. So, and I also was wrapping my ankle. I was wrapping my ankle every training session. You know, I even done a lot of training sessions where when the ankle was sore, I still wouldn't stop training. I used to just train on my back. And that's how I developed those ground and pound shots from the back. That's why Dustin backed away when he was on top of me and I was landing the up kicks and the elbows and all. It's a horrible place to be in. When you're against someone like me, you can't land. It takes so much effort to try and land shots from your top position. And while you're trying to do that and you're losing your energy, you're getting lumped out by downward elbows and vicious up kicks. And it was a skill I developed because I had the damaged leg and I had to adjust my training. So, you know, now I'm essentially after getting exactly what I needed to get there. I needed to get treatment on my leg. I needed to get treatment on the ankle and I needed to get treatment on the shin bone. And I would have never committed to going under the knife unless something like this has happened. So something like this has happened. I'm after going in, I'm after getting exactly what I needed. And what I needed was a titanium shin bone. So now I've got a titanium rod going down the knee, from the knee to my ankle. And the doctor said it's unbreakable.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. But listen, you know, he said the doctors knew about him having a stress fracture. I don't know what quantifies a stress fracture, but I think if there was an actual fracture, they would have pulled him from the fight. But no doubt he did damage it. I'm not saying he's a liar. I don't know anything about the situation. Sounds like, you know, there was an issue going in. Dr. Davidson, by the way, he's the head medical officer for the UFC. He's the guy that you're going to go through for everything. He handles and liaises with your doctors and all the rest of it. So, the reality is he still chose to fight, so God bless him. I'm sure everyone was very happy about that. But fighters going injured all the time, to be fair. You know, I mean, I did enter about fucking 12 fights with one eye. I'm not trying to take away from his, but there's always little bumps and bruises, Lewis, as you'll find out because you'll be fighting in November.
Yeah. November 13th looks like that is the official date for myself versus Jason Else Media 21. Thank you. And yeah, of course. And we hear that all the time. Nobody goes into it 100%, and you make the decision. And I think that, you know, look, Conor's great. Like, I'm not taking away from like Conor being great. And obviously, and I think we've talked about this so many times, I think Conor needs to convince himself of the excuses to enable him. He needs to convince himself that he's truly the best and unbeatable. Right? Yeah. He needs to convince himself of that. He's not the type of fighter to walk away from this and go, what did I do wrong here? How can I learn from this loss? He needs to walk away from it going, no, this was a fucking fluke. I'm going to beat him. I'm going to kill him. I could beat him 10 out of 10 times. And that sort of confidence will likely bring him to, you know, able to motivate him to train to be the absolute peak Conor McGregor. So I'm not saying that it's wrong. You know, Conor knows how to be the best version of himself. But it just, in my opinion, it doesn't do him any favors in terms of fanfare. It just comes off like he's making excuses. You know, at one point you want the guy who loses to give the guy who wins credit and go, the better man won that night. You just want that. There's like closure there that you almost have respect for fighters doing that. And Conor just sort of doesn't want to do that with Dustin.
Yeah, no, that is a fair assessment. But I also think there is, obviously, he's got legions of fans out there that love to see that kind of attitude. They love to see that, and they actually take inspiration from it. And, you know, it's fair play, because as fighters, certainly when you don't like someone, I don't know where this got, you know, where the bad blood came in so much. I guess it was the donation stuff, but whatever. You know, when there's bad blood, you don't want to give credit, you know, so that's fair enough. But there's a lot of people that just love everything about Conor. He actually put out another video as well. Brian, just cue that one up and play that when you can. It's pretty funny because, you know, he's rolling through the neighborhood where he lives. Conor McGregor on an electric wheelchair with his feet up. It's pretty funny. And I got to say, fair play to the man. You know, in his position, he could easily just disappear now, but he's already talking about making a comeback. You know, and as you know, I'm not going to sit here and kiss his ass, but you got to give credit to that, you know. But Brian, press play on the video, please.
I'm at the going in, I'm at the getting exactly what I needed. And what I needed was a titanium shin bone. So now I've got a titanium rod going down the knee, from the knee to my ankle. And the doctor said it's unbreakable. So once I build back, you know, first of all, manage the incision, the cut, you know, make sure it doesn't get infected, keep the health on it, keep building back that way. Then I'll start playing with the balance, learning how to stand on it again, learning how to balance on the single leg again. Then I'll build the strength. And then I've got an unbreakable titanium leg. I'm like, you know, I'm like, I was talking to my physical therapist, Heather, who was with Arnold Schwarzenegger, his other half. And I was saying, I'm like Arnie in Terminator 2. You know what I mean? So
it's pretty funny. Imagine the neighbors. Do you know, when you're looking out your window, you're like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I just saw Conor McGregor rolling down the street on an electric wheelchair. They're like, no, you didn't. What I want to know is I'm going to have to call Conor, I think, because whenever my mum came over from England, we'd always take her to Disneyland because my mum can't walk and she's in a wheelchair. And if you're with someone that's in a wheelchair, you get right to the front of those lines. You know what I mean? No waiting. So, yeah, Conor, if you're free this weekend, let's go Disneyland, baby. Let's go.
Also, to be honest with you, they can't really ask you what's wrong with you. So same thing at the airport. Like when you get to the airport, if you just say, hey, I need a wheelchair, they have to bring you a wheelchair and then push you to the front of the lines everywhere. And they can't ask you. It's against the law for them to ask you.
You can rent a wheelchair at Disneyland. You don't have to show up with your own wheelchair. You can rent one, sit in the thing, and then go right to the front of the line, which is bullshit. I don't like that. We're digressing, but still, it is interesting. It pisses me off. There's kids there. These assholes cheating the lines. Listen, if you've got a proper medical condition, fair enough. I get that. But it's for children. It's for fucking children. And they have to stand there, wait in the lines in the scorching sun. And a lot of overweight people, just because they have no discipline, I'm telling you, they take advantage of the system. They don't want to walk, and they go right to the front and say,
"Oh, you're fat shaming. You're fat shaming right now."
I'm not fat shaming.
Look, I try to spread
from kids' experience at Disneyland shaming. That's what I'm doing.
I try to spread body positivity here. I thought that's what this podcast was about. We're about feminism, body positivity.
100%.
Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody's a winner.
That's great. I don't care. No shame. Hey, that's up to you. That's up to you. I couldn't care less. But don't make my fucking kid wait in the sun. No. Just because you don't want to wait in line. Nothing to do with the fatness or the
I'm not talking about fat people. I'm
leg.
talking about literally people that want to scam the system. I have respect for it. If you pretended to be crippled and that you couldn't walk and you just came in and hobbled in and you're like, oh, I need a wheelchair, and then they just wheeled you around Disney World, that'd be fucking hilarious.
I'm just saying, if I'm ever in the line at Disneyland and I've got to stand there like a dickhead and I'm waiting in the sun and little Lucas, and maybe I've got some younger kids because Lucas is a bit old now to even give a shit, but I've got some younger kids with me. I'm taking them out for the day. I'm babysitting. And then I see you stroll by on a fucking wheelchair and go
Bisping's babysitting service. I just want to see that.
I'm like, no. This is not going to fly. I will rip you out of that goddamn wheelchair. Anyway, listen.
Help. He's attacking me because I'm fat.
You are fat. You got till November 13th, though. You're good. Let me see. Yeah, McGregor. I mean, it's nice that he's talking about coming back. I do believe it is. You know, I mean, fair play. Already talking about the comeback, but I guess, you know, he's got to do that, you know, but still, I do respect it.
Is this a little weird? I've never seen McGregor. I mean, I don't follow McGregor's social media that well, so I don't. But anytime he tweets, it gets thrown up by a ton of other people, so you can't get away from it. Especially when it's something interesting, kind of like that, pertaining to a big story last week. But I feel like I've never really seen this side of McGregor, which is sort of like he's coming in, like almost like very seriously talking about the doctors and these things. It's almost like, I don't know, is he trying to convince himself? I have no idea. There's something strange. I've just never seen McGregor. Number one, like. You know, he looks very vulnerable because he's obviously in a wheelchair with his leg up and he just had his leg broken. He just lost 2 times in a row to Dustin Poirier. But there's
anyone in on the UFC roster could take him right now. He is vulnerable. He's got one leg. He's in an electric wheelchair. I'll take fucking Tisha Torres over Conor McGregor right now.
Tisha Torres will destroy Conor McGregor right now.
The tiny tornado will fuck you up, bro. No, listen.
But there's like, do you get what I'm saying though? I feel like we've never sort of seen Conor. It's interesting to sort of watch him sort of like, you know, be on camera that way and talking the way that he's talking. It's not the normal like.
No. The reason being is, and I understand what you're saying, but the reason being is because he truly believes in his heart that that's the reason why his leg broke. Okay. And if there was some stress fractures, then it probably is why the leg broke. You know what I mean? There is reasons for things. Things don't happen for no reason. So that's why, and he believes it would have made it to round 2 and he would have turned things around. All fighters believe that, of course. And of course, look at the fight with Chad Mendes. He was able to do that. Was it likely? No. Was it possible? Yes. You can't say it was impossible because that would just be an outright lie. So in his mind, the fight stopped because of an injury. So therefore, he's fired up to get back, to change the narrative and come back. And I got to say, as I say, I do respect that attitude. I really do. But who does he come back against? Brian, can you bring up a graphic of the top 10 lightweight or top 15, whatever it is, of the lightweight rankings? And because I don't think he's going to get to fight Dustin straight away. I think. And
Dustin, is it definitely going to be lightweight? Maybe it's 170. Maybe that's a smarter division to come back to. I mean, I don't think he's beating Kamaru Usman, but.
No, 170, he ain't beating, you know, Kamaru Usman or any of those guys.
Well,
but at 155, you know, well, that's where he's going to come back. If anything, he should come back at 145 because he was a way better version. But out of those names there, right, Gregor Gillespie, you want to stay away from him. He's an unreal wrestling machine. Islam Makhachev, he's fighting this weekend. Makhachev is unreal. They're calling him the next Khabib. We'll talk about that shortly. There's McGregor, Rafael Dos Anjos, Tony Ferguson, Chandler, Dariush, Gagey, Poirier. Well, it ain't Poirier because I think he's going to fight Oliveira for the belt. Justin Gagey, they're talking about him fighting Michael Chandler, so they'll be taking it. And again, to be honest, not the best matchups. There's one name on there that jumps off and slaps me in the face as the next opponent. Who do you think, Lewis?
Justin Gaethje.
No, I just said you want to avoid Justin Gaethje. All-American wrestler, heavy hands. The one name. Come on, it's there. It's got the backstory. He's a big name. He's a big deal. And he's on the slide. Tony Ferguson. That's the perfect matchup. Because, listen, I respect Tony Ferguson, but you got to be honest. He's kind of on the slide. He could turn it around and come back. But I would favor McGregor in that matchup all day. He's way too slick with his strike. And Tony's kind of sloppy and he relies on his chin. We've talked about this in depth when he was fighting. You know, he relies on his chin, and that's diminishing him now. He can't take shots like he used to. I don't know if that's the case. He's certainly coming towards the end of his career. Seems like his heyday's behind him. That's the perfect fight for Conor to come back, beat Tony Ferguson. Then he beats the boogeyman. Tony Ferguson has a tremendous following, and he's known for being super, super tough. Beats Tony Ferguson, gets his mojo back, then fights Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Conor, sure. Fine. That probably, if he's going to come back at 155, yes, that's probably the only fight that makes sense. I'm just not super excited about the prospect of Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 4. I think, to be honest with you.
Well, you better get used to it. You better get used to it because it's going to happen. Dana said it. Conor's pushing hard for it. You know, it did a lot of pay-per-view buys.
We'll see. If it's going to happen. Well, hold on. Even in your ideal scenario, he'd have to get past Tony Ferguson. He's not 100% going to get past Tony Ferguson. I think by the time Conor comes back, who the fuck knows where the 155-pound division is?
Dana White said at the post-fight press conference they'll do a 4th fight. Conor is calling for the 4th fight. Dustin has said he will do the 4th fight. There is going to be a 4th fight. Are you understanding the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Dana says a lot of things. A lot of things. And then a lot of those things don't come to fruition because a lot of things can happen. Injuries happen. People retire. COVID happens. Fucking people get arrested for beating up their girlfriends. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen at 155 pounds in the next year? Which is going to be a year.
Fucking earthquake. The San Andreas fault could go tits up. Yes, you're right. A huge tornado might come in. You know, he might retire. There's a lot of things. But if he continues to fight, it's going to be Dustin Poirier for the 4th fight. Please. You're making me dumber. You're making me dumber just for hearing this. Come on, Lewis. Come on, Gomez. Come on, it's been said. It's been announced. It's almost set in stone.
This is the most retarded conversation I've ever had. Nobody's
Don't
announcing.
say the word retarded, baby boy.
Well, don't be retarded then. There's nothing set in stone a year and a half from now. We'll see what happens. I think it'd be more interesting, in my opinion. Conor McGregor heals up, comes back. We'll see where all these divisions are, but 170 with Masvidal and Nick Diaz right there, those are two juicy, fun, fucking winnable fights for Conor McGregor that are huge, way bigger than Tony Ferguson in terms of pay-per-view buys. Massive appeal. So that I think that those are interesting.
He's too
prospects.
small for 170.
He's fought at 170. He fights at 170. He fights at 155.
He's fought 155. Was that 170?
Yeah, Nick Diaz also is a small 170 pounder who has fought at 160 pounds, and also Masvidal's fought 155 as well.
He's coming for the lightweight belt. That's what he wants to
What is going on? Are you on McGregor's payroll right now? What is going on?
I'm telling you that you're wrong. He's not after.
I'm not wrong about a hypothetical. I'm saying that'd be fun. I'm not wrong about it being fun. It would be fun.
Okay, I'm saying I don't agree with your take. I don't agree with your take that after struggling at 155 recently, he's going to come back and plan on dominating 170. It's not how it works. Not
more likely to beat Masvidal and Nick Diaz than win the 155-pound title. Let's get fucking real.
I don't know about that either, buddy. Masvidal, trust me. Anyway, moving on.
It's a fun, heated little battle. I like it.
No, it's not. It's just the other reason it's heated because you're so wrong. Anyway, we've got lots of other things to talk about, and I'm done with this conversation now. But one name we did see on there is Islam Makhachev, who's fighting this weekend. So that's a segue. That's what I've been trying to get at. Islam Makhachev is a name that everybody wants to avoid right now. He's a guy that apparently he was saying that he struggled to get a fight because everyone's avoiding him. They're calling him the next Khabib. He was raised in Dagestan. He was trained by Abdul Manap, that's Khabib's father that sadly passed away. Khabib has been coaching him. He trains at AKA where Khabib trains. Khabib will be in his corner, the same coaches, this very, very similar style. Although Ali Abdelaziz said, listen, the difference between them two is that Khabib smashes people on the ground, where Islam constantly chases submissions on the ground. I don't know if that's true. That's what Ali said this morning. But still, he has got tremendous hype. I think he's on a 7 or 8 fight win streak because he has the difference between him and Khabib is that he's lost one fight. Okay. So that kind of Adriano Martins, I believe it was, knocked him out, caught him early in the first round. It happens, but that does take away from his marketability. But trust me, he is like the next coming of Khabib and he's got the full support behind him.
Yeah. I mean, look, the one loss, obviously, you want to have that undefeated, but nobody does. Who has that? Even John Jones. John Jones has it technically, and I count John Jones as undefeated. I don't count the loss to Matt. But on the record, in terms of marketability, when you see that record, there's just no getting rid of that one, right? That one loss. So, yeah, I think it does take away the marketability, but it really is, you know, how early in his UFC career was that?
I think it was his like 2 or 3 fights, something like that. I haven't got his record in front of me, but he's taking on Thiago Moises. Thiago Moises, Brazilian dude, high-level jiu-jitsu. That's what he's known for, but his striking's really, really good. Last time we saw Thiago Moises Moises, I believe is how you say it, was against Alexander Hernandez. His striking looks sensational there. So that's a great fight in the main event this weekend. I'll be calling the fight, so check it out. Co-main event, Miesha Tate, she's back, taking on Marion Renault, which is weird. Miesha Tate's returning. She's been out for 5 years. She's taken on Marion Renault, who has said it's her final fight, regardless of what happens. She's in her early 40s. She did it for a long time. She's had a lot of great fights. She fought some of the big names in the division, and this is her final fight. And I know because we spoke to her yesterday, and Renault wants to really – Miesha Tate was a name she wanted to fight for a long time. And this is her final fight. So she really wants to put her best foot forward. She's going to come in really motivated, as is Miesha Tate. That's a good one. And then also, Jeremy Stephens is back. Remember, he was supposed to fight Drakkar Klose a while ago. Pushed him at the weigh-in. Drakkar got a neck sprain, basically whiplash. The fight was called off. But Jeremy Stephens is back. Jeremy Stephens says that's a win for him. He does say that's a win for him, which is a little unusual, but still. Yeah, I don't think he got paid his full purse, so that was a loss. But still, I love Jeremy. Jeremy's fucking awesome. Always exciting. Jeremy Stephens is one of the most exciting fighters on the roster. He really is. He truly has that kill or be killed attitude. He's got a tough fight. There's a guy called Mateus Gamrot. You probably won't be familiar with him, but he's a very, very, I think he might have had one fight in the UFC, or did he not? Anyway, he used to be a KSW champion. big organization in Poland. Good grappler, tough fight for Jeremy Stephens, but no real name recognition. But Jeremy Stephens, I spoke to him yesterday. He's like, I don't give a shit. I'm just coming to bang, bro. I'm just coming to knock this guy out. Trust me, you're going to see a masterpiece or something like that. So yeah, it's going to be good. So check it out, Lewis.
I'm very excited. I'm excited to listen to you call the fights.
So am I. Aljamain Sterling. What?
I said, fuck you.
Why? Fuck me. What are you saying?
You're so okay. You say he's like, so am I.
Yeah, well, what do you want me to say to that? You pay me a nice compliment. I'm like, thank you.
I know.
I appreciate it.
You don't take compliments well.
I prefer it when people bust my balls, to be honest.
Right? Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is weird.
I don't like taking gifts. Like when somebody gives me a gift, I'm awkward about it. I'm like, I feel like I owe them something.
When somebody gets too over complimentary with me, I think they don't mean it. I think they're fake.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're kissing my ass, but doing it from like a comedy angle or whatever, which is weird. Maybe that's a personality flaw. It is a personality flaw. Some people say this man has a personality flaw. I don't think so. His shtick on Twitter has been rubbing people the wrong way. The bantamweight champion, Aljamain Sterling, great guy. I love this guy. But he was talking about a potential fight on Fight Island against Petr Yan. We all know what happened last time. Brian, roll the tape, please.
But you are leaving a slight opening that if you have to go to Abu Dhabi, you will, or is that going to be like an emphatic no from your end?
Well, I think you guys know how it goes with telling Dana White no. So I don't think there's much negotiation there to be 100. If I'm being 100% honest and transparent, I don't think they're going to give me an opportunity to negotiate that. And I mean, I'm not looking to get in a pissing war with Dana all over again, you know. So that's what they want. That's what they want. That's the location they want. Like I said, the date's good. It's just the location for me is it's not fun. I know Petr Yan's been training out at American Top Team. I don't even know what he's going to do, if he's going to move his whole camp back to Thailand or however that's going to work for him. But I think we both got a lot of things we got to figure out. But if we can have if they can overturn the stupid medical clearance so that I can fight in New York, this wouldn't even be an issue right now. I'd be MSG, my first time fighting as a pro. Fought there as an amateur. Why can't I fight there as a pro? Like, come on, New York, man, get your shit together, you know? Let's make some money. That'll do,
right?
I'm looking at.
Yeah, so he's kind of annoyed. It sounds like they're trying to put him fighting on Fight Island. I get it. I understand that. You don't necessarily want to have to fly to the other side of the world to Abu Dhabi. You don't want to have to quarantine for a couple of days before you go there. It's a long flight. There's time adjustments. You fight in the middle of the night or even first thing in the morning. But unfortunately, the UFC have been using Fight Island, and that's where they want to go. They want to respect the accommodation that they're being given by the people in Abu Dhabi. They want to put on big fights there. And he's a champion. So they want to do the rematch there. They need a title fight there. And because
the original fight was there, right?
No. Petr Yan fought there against Jose Aldo. I think that's when he won the belt.
Okay.
Yeah, the original fight was in Vegas at the Apex. You know, I mean, I get it. But sometimes you don't get to fight everywhere. I mean, I know what he's saying. You don't want to go up against Dana. It's his company. They need to put fights on. You're cleared to fight. You've gone away for a while. You had surgery. You're back. You were going to give you a fight. You're going to defend the belt against Petr Yan. But you got to do it in Fight Island. I get his reservation. It sucks, but that's just the way you got to go sometimes.
And I am a fan of Aljamain. So let me just say this. Take this with a grain of salt. But, you know, under the circumstances, I just don't feel like Aljamain has a leg to stand on when it comes to making specific requests.
Why are you going to take shots at Conor McGregor? Go on, carry on.
I just don't think he can really make specific requests when... You know, he didn't truly win the belt. He didn't win it. He has it. He's the champion, but he should be coming back. He should be trying to shut up all the haters and saying, fuck it, any place, anytime, anybody, put him in front of me. I'm going to show everyone that I'm the absolute best in the world. He was losing that fight. He won the belt under special circumstances. Yan was disqualified, and I just feel like Aljamain, and every step of the way after he's won this title, he seems to just be going a little against the grain. Not a lot. He's not being. I'm not saying that, like he even said he was like, I don't want to go against UFC, but it's like, dude, I don't know. Like, come on, make me root for you here. Make me say you're the real champion.
Yeah, well, listen, Aljamain's fantastic. I really, really like the guy, but I understand what you're saying, and you made me realize that's the point I was looking for, because when you get to a certain stature in the UFC, then you get the ability to kind of not call the shots, but have a say. Now, of course, being the champion, you're on your way there. But so far, as you said, there was, well, at best, we'll call it unusual circumstances to how he got the belt. Okay. So he's got to fight. He's had some time off in the UFC. That's where they want you. You are contracted to the UFC. And at that point, I don't think he's earned up enough grace to say, hey, I'm Conor McGregor. I want to fight here. Or I'm George St. Pierre. I'll come back if the fight's here. Even I didn't have that. And I was in the company for so long. I was a champion, but I wasn't able to. I was able to pick Manchester and some stuff like that. But I'd been in the UFC for fucking forever. But to a certain degree, they say you want to fight and the fight's going to be there. You kind of got to go there. You know what I mean? And it sucks. I get it. I traveled all over the world. It's always lovely to fight in your back garden. And I'm sure as a guy from New York or trains in New York or New Jersey, of course he wants to fight at Madison Square Garden. That's a fucking dream scenario. Totally get that. Totally understand that. But I'll see you in Fight Island, buddy.
I'll see you in Fight Island. Yeah, I mean, look, Aljo's great. But you kind of touched on something before about the time of day as well. It must be pretty annoying to have to fight in the morning or in the middle of the night. It's something that I remember when you were fighting in England, you would fight, I think your main event would be at like 4 or 5 in the morning. So you have to sort of make that adjustment. Was that difficult to make the adjustment?
Yeah, it was a real pain in the ass. When I got to England, when I fought in Manchester, I think I walked out at 5 a.m. So we had to stay up all night, which was a nightmare. For like 2 weeks before, me and my whole team would try and sleep all day and stay up all night, and there's not much to do in Manchester at 4 o'clock in the morning, and there's not much on TV at 4 o'clock in the morning. And every night it was just us lot sitting around, people farting, telling stupid jokes, you know what I mean? And we try for the love of God to stay awake and be like, okay, but every night we managed to stay awake a little longer. But like when I fought in Australia, a couple of times I did that, 2 or was it 3? I'm not sure. But still, when I did that, you have to fight first thing in the morning, like 10 o'clock in the morning, which wasn't bad actually.
I almost feel like in the morning, that's when I'm just going based off like workout time. That's when I want to work out. You get up, have some coffee, have some breakfast, digest a little bit, go for a nice workout right afterwards. You feel great.
I liked it at the time because afterwards the party was going to go for longer. I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to be at the bar by 12 o'clock. Let's go. Listen, but also while, of course, the practicality of flying to Abu Dhabi and doing those kind of things or going to Australia or wherever. Yes, there's challenges, but also it makes it so fucking exciting. I remember, and we've talked about this, so I won't go into it too much, but being a professional fighter and working your way up, right? And then getting to this point where now he's the champion, for crying out loud. But even for anybody, you get to the point and you say to your friends or you say to your coaches, man, I'm fighting in Australia. I'm going to get flown first class. I'm going to get there. I'm going to be the main event in this crazy country. Or going to China, Macau, Brazil, England, Scotland, just going all over the world as a professional fighter. It's cool as fuck. Yeah, you want to fight in your back garden here and there. You want to fight in your backyard and have that hometown support. But I truly loved being an international fighter and going and opening these new markets and spreading the word of the UFC. I truly loved it. Really did.
Yeah, and I think it's it also depends on how you grew up, and I don't know Aljamain's background, but it's like when I got to finally travel, I really appreciated the fact that I was getting to see all these different parts of the world and parts of the country. Just I didn't get on a flight till I was 19 years old for the first time.
Well,
so
go on, sorry.
No, I was going to say it was like I just had and now I think maybe I don't appreciate it. I take it for granted a little bit now. I've been doing it for years, but definitely when I was younger, I used to love getting on a flight and I used to love just landing in a new place that I'd never been before and checking it out.
Well, and then from this scenario as well, it's going to places that you would never normally go. I found myself in some weird places. I'm like, holy shit, there's no way I would have ever chosen to come here and pay to go there, right?
I'm in a whorehouse in Reno. How'd this happen?
No, there's no way. Listen, I know they're trying to push the tourism in Abu Dhabi, and it is a very, very cool place, but it's not at the tip of everyone's mind when they say, oh, where should we go? Oh, I know. Let's fly to fucking Abu Dhabi, to the desert. You don't think that, but when you get there, it's a really cool, enriching experience, and you see new places, you're experiencing new cultures, and you have a great time. So just go with it. Okay, Harrington, I believe you had something to add on this topic before we were going to move on.
Harrington. All right, good job.
Okay,
Harrington.
good job. Good job. Nice. There he is. He comes and goes like the wind. Harrington, are you there? Try this one last time. Do you have a microphone in your hand? Do you have a stupid smirk? But can you talk?
I have all those things, Michael.
There we go.
It's called a podcast. You sitting there and making stupid faces may serve the YouTube people somewhat, but not the audio listeners. Try to entertain the audio only listeners, please, Harrington.
Sure. So he had some remarks about TJ Dillashaw, who is making a comeback, at the 135 weight class that that Aljamain is now the king of. The quote is this: TJ, if he's still not cheating, if he's done cheating, I should say, because I truly believe he's been cheating ever since the John Dodson fight where he got knocked out. I think from there he made some changes to his supplement diet. This from his teammates, even throwing him under a bus, talking about how long he's been doing it. If he's not cheating anymore, hopefully his mad scientist, Calavita, is not trying to figure out other ways to get around the system. And we had to clean fight. I think that stuff, he's too small. The EPO was huge for him in terms of cardio, and I think a guy like Sandhagen doesn't get tired. I think Sandhagen fights loose. He's long, rangier, younger. I think probably more durable, and they have the familiarity with each other.
Interesting. So he's still accusing of TJ being up to no good. God. I mean, listen, TJ is obviously coming for that belt. That's what he's making a campaign for, and he's coming in, he's fighting Sandhagen. If he gets past Sandhagen, I would say whoever wins between Aljamain and Petr Yan, then that's going to be TJ or Sandhagen's next fight. So he's throwing a little bit of shade. I think it would be incredibly stupid and incredibly arrogant of TJ Dillashaw to still be cheating the system and taking steroids. I mean, come on. He would never fight again. He would be banned for life. And you can guarantee that USADA are testing the shit out of him. Randomness galore. Do you know what I mean? Showing up at all kind of crazy times, taking the blood, taking the urine. Because listen, where there's smoke, there's fire. So they're going to look into it. And you're going to be pretty fucking ballsy to, as you're making your comeback fight from the 2-year suspension, to still be cheating. I just don't think he's that stupid.
Do they test his urine that often?
Yeah, they test you. Well, anytime you saw it come, for the most part, it's urine and blood. Yeah, because they both test for different things.
I was just mocking the way you said urine.
Yeah. Oh, really? It's urine. Urine. How do you spell it?
U-R-I-N-E.
Yeah, urine. There's an E on the end. There's an E on the end.
You can't spell urine without U and I.
Yeah, well, there you go. Harrington, you got that stupid look on your face again.
Speaking of urine, Harrington.
Just rude. All right. So the follow up there is he's making the point that, like you said, Michael, that he probably is under a lot more scrutiny. But if he was doing juice from the time that he lost to John Dodson to his last fight out against Henry Cejudo, are we going to see that same TJ Dillashaw? Is this a guy who has needed it his entire career? Now that he is under that microscope, how is he going to stack up against Corey Sandhagen? I think is the question being asked.
Yeah, well, and the answer I'm going to give is, I guess we'll fucking find out. Don't ever interrupt me again when we're about to move on to more juicy topics like Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul having a press conference yesterday. I know we said we'll never talk about it, but Tyron Woodley's in the fold. Tyron Woodley's coming out there. He joined the show. We talked about it, and it's getting close. It's just a few weeks away. Did you see it, Lewis?
I did. I watched the entire press conference as I hit the heavy bag this afternoon.
Oh, just double multitasking.
Very cringe, just overall. If you happened upon my garage this afternoon, it was pretty cringy. It was me listening to Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley just sweating, hitting a heavy bag poorly. And yeah,
just
but
taking inspiration. That's it. This is for you, Jake. This is for you, Tyron. Come on, let's go. I'm the next contender. I'm the champ.
It was a fairly entertaining press conference.
I saw a little bit of it. I didn't watch it all. I was busy. I had something on, but I did see some good bits. I saw some highlights as well. And when we were talking at the top of the show, in your opinion, if you were to score the press conference, and as I said, I didn't see the whole thing. I wasn't as inspirational as you. I wasn't working the heavy bag whilst watching press conferences, whilst having somebody in the background showing deadly samurai techniques. But if you were to score the press conference, who would you give the edge to?
I would say it was a very decisive 10-9 victory for Jake Paul. Very decisive 10-9 round.
Now, let me ask, did you see my breakdown of the scoring system? And did you go with the new official commission-based 10-9s or 10-8s? If you haven't seen that, go to my YouTube, Michael Bisping, and check it out, because people don't know how to score. But a 10-9, why was it a 10-9 for Jake Paul?
Well, I think it wasn't so. I don't think it was so devastating of a blow that it was, you know, it was clearly decisive and clearly won by Jake Paul. But I think as somebody who, you know, I watched it, I felt there was a moment where Jake Paul took over, and I think that Brian has it ready to go. But there was a moment where Jake Paul, what was the shot that he took that I could tell that he pissed off Tyron Woodley? Tyron Woodley said as much. Tyron Woodley responded with, he was like, "Oh, you're going to pay for that one." Well, do you remember the shot I'm talking about?
No, I don't, but let's watch it, because
Please,
I do believe that the producer extraordinaire, Brian, is at his fingertips right now. Oh, look at that. Boom. Let's go.
Because they go back to your UFC record and they say, well, he's lost his last 4. He even lost his last fight, obviously in the octagon. Does he still have enough left in the tank? Can you answer that?
Jake, meet me in sparring tonight.
No, this was before this. You gotta rewind it. It's what Jake says before that. It's like a minute before. Try to find that if you can, because this is where Tyron shows his ass. He's like, "Oh, meet me in sparring tonight. You're gonna pay for that comment." It's like, Tyron, you're gonna fight him already. You guys are being paid to fight. It was just a weird thing. Like Tyron lost control of his emotions, and it was just. Yeah, I felt like Tyron lost control of his emotions. I feel like it was just sort of like, it was the only moment where I saw that any one of them sort of took control. Because I think Tyron was good up until that moment.
Well, I want to talk about the gigantic fucking robot behind Jake Paul. I mean, I do want to see Tyron losing his shit, because that's an interesting talking point. That robot, I gotta say, I like it. It is whatever, but it definitely grabs attention and probably costs a lot of money. Do we think somebody's in the suit, or do we actually think it's a robot? I don't know. That's where my mind was yesterday. Someone's in the suit.
Yes, it's not actually a robot, Bisping. That would
be a robot, because
multi-million-dollar robot.
Well, whoever's in that fucking suit needs to work better, because all they could do is and fucking, he should have been body popping, doing the butterfly, fucking doing some good shit. If that, because that's what I thought. That's why I thought it's a robot, because it's fucking one from the 1980s. He just does this. Yeah. Whoever's in that robot, then you're fired. I did see Jake Paul offering him, whoever loses this fight has to get I Love Jake Paul or I Love Tyron Woodley on them. I thought that was good.
A few weeks ago, you mentioned that you wanted to make a bet with him to double up the purse. Is that something that you're still bringing up, that you're interested in?
Yeah, look, I mean, he didn't want to take that bet.
I did, but I didn't want to let you fucking get the upper hand. At the time you said, I'm like, man, that sounds appetizing, but I didn't want to let you just get that moment.
Okay, so how about this? Let's make a new bet right now.
Let's make a new bet.
If I beat you, you have to get I Love Jake Paul tattooed on you. But if you beat me, I get I Love Tyron Woodley tattooed on me, and you have to post it on your Instagram feed. Deal or no deal? Are you confident or not?
What y'all think?
Bro.
Y'all think I should do it?
Bro, this guy has no fucking confidence.
Bet.
Deal or no deal?
Deal.
Can we shake on it?
Look at the robot guy.
There we go,
the robot guy.
Folks,
deal.
Listen. Oh, I feel for Tyron there. I feel because he didn't want to take the bet from what I saw from the body language. But at that point, because he turned down the double or nothing bet, turned down something else apparently. And then at that point there, because if you are truly confident, you believe you're going to win, then why wouldn't you take the bet? But of course, you don't want to take that bet, because if you lose, you're fucked. There's a chance he loses the fight. And now he's going to be walking around with I Love Jake Paul tattooed on him. It's not a good look.
Well, there was another moment that Jake Paul had another pretty good moment where Tyron was like, you know, you're going to be, are you showing the moment that I was talking about? Before you do that, let me make this point. There was another moment where Tyron was like, you know, you're going to look over at your coaches and you're going to be like, oh, you guys were lying to me. You told me this guy was going to be easy, you know, but you're going to realize you're in a real fight. And then Jake said, he was like, oh, my coaches are not telling me you're easy. My coaches are telling me you're a real threat and that I got to take you very, very seriously, but they're also telling me they're going to beat you. And it was just sort of an interesting moment. I was like, oh shit, that's probably really what's going on with Jake Paul right now. And Tyron is sort of convincing himself of a false narrative. So that's not necessarily good. Look, I still think Tyron's going to win this fight. I still think that Tyron's experience being an actual real fighter and being a real striker, it's not Ben Askren. I do think that, you know, Tyron is taking this very, very seriously. He is training, obviously, from his Instagram and from his social media, it seems as such. But I'm not as convinced as I was, number one, when they first announced this fight. As it's coming closer, I'm getting more and more convinced that Jake Paul can actually be Tyron Woodley, which is fucking crazy.
Well, you were wrong about fucking Ben Askren, and as was the entire fucking universe, okay? And I'm just telling you right now, there's a real good possibility that Jake Paul wins this fight. He had a very good line yesterday. Listen, the kid can box. Yeah, he's got power. He's taller. He says, I'm fighting a guy that's 5'9", that fights at 170. I'm 6'1", and I weigh 210 pounds, and I can box, and I'm younger, and I haven't been beaten in the last 4 fights. These are all very real points. They are, and I hate to say it, it just makes it interesting. I'm not saying Tyron can't beat him. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm just like, I think Tyron knows he's got a real fight, and I think Jake Paul knows he has a real fight, you know, and it's just interesting. I can't believe we're having this conversation, but still entertaining stuff. Would you have taken that bet? Let's say Jason Ellis said to you, if whoever loses, you got to get the other person's name tattooed on you.
I think we actually have this bet going right now, me and him.
You do?
I think we do. We have a tattoo bet or
so
something
if
dumb.
You lose, well, no, let's elaborate because I want, you know, you got to be confident. If you lose, what is the consequence for you?
I mean, I think getting my ass kicked in an MMA fight is the real consequence.
But we just talked about bets.
I know. I think me and Ellis bet. Harrington, you were there. Did me and him bet a tattoo or something? Or we talked about it?
Nah. Anyway, Harrington's not having a good day today. Nope, sorry, you had your chance. Moving on. In fact, no, come back on actually. Because it's Thursday, we'll allow you to hammer fist us. Talking of asses, talking of tattoos, and tattoo doesn't work, but the asses does. Right. Few extra topics on there. Thursday afternoon. Come on, Harrington. Start with the good stuff. Don't start with the shit stuff. Start with the good stuff if you've got some good stuff. But go ahead. I've seen the points. I know what's good. I know what's bad. But that's down to your discretion. Go ahead. As Lewis would say, baby boy.
All right, well, I got one's kind of juicy. A guy just had to pull out of the biggest fight of the summer, Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. He's supposed to be in COVID quarantine, but he was spotted out in Vegas over the weekend.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm just devastated. The fight's not happening. It's a shame. It's been postponed, I believe, to October. Tyson only had the first dose of the vaccine, didn't have the second dose, and because he didn't want to get sick for training camp, and then unfortunately caught COVID, and I think like 10 of his teammates as well. So it is a shame. And yeah, when you get COVID, I guess you are supposed to quarantine, but the champ does whatever the fuck he wants because there he is. He's in Vegas. He's renting cars.
He's got a mask.
Yeah, I don't think he's got a mask on either.
Jesus
oh, my
Christ.
God. Our pets' heads are going to fall off. I mean, yeah. Maybe just don't put yourself on social media. Who am I to judge? Do you know what I mean? But still, if you got COVID, I mean, yeah. I mean, listen, if you're not known and you've got COVID and you want to float quarantine, that's okay. When you're Tyson Fury, one of the biggest names in combat sports, maybe not quite as okay, and you won't fly under the same radar. And then don't have it on social media. Just look, tips from Michael Bisping. There you go.
Tips from Michael Bisping. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. It's psychotic. I mean, if he has COVID and he's going out in public without a mask and breaking quarantine, that's absolutely crazy. And that's coming from me.
Yes, I'm not a fool.
I don't even believe that it's real.
I know you don't, but we're not getting into it. It's the government trying to control us. But still, Tyson.
He's got the Delta variant. What's going on here?
Yes, the Delta Plus variant, I believe, stemming from India. But I just hope you get better soon, bud. Can't wait to see the fight. And the fight we all want to see is you versus bloody Anthony Joshua. Can we just make this happen? Oh, my God. I don't think we're ever going to see, but that's what we want to see. That's what I want to see. I think that's what everybody wants to see. But still, get well soon. Harrington, what next?
All right. Let's see here. So UFC 267 in Abu Dhabi, we just talked about. They're targeting Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan, apparently. They already have Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira. Now, apparently, they're trying to add a third title fight to that, possibly. There's rumors right now Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington 2 could take place on Fight Island in Abu Dhabi. Guys, what do you think is the main event if there's all three title fights on that card?
I'll say them again.
Kamaru Colby.
Kamaru versus
Peter
Colby.
Yan.
Yep.
And Glover versus Jan Blachowicz.
Well, Glover versus Jan Blachowicz is a tremendous fight, and I can't wait for that one. And until you said that, I was like, Harrington, please, do we even have to answer this question? But that kind of did make it a question. No offense to Aljamain and Petr Yan. That isn't going to be the main event. The main event is going to be the bad blood, the scenario, the rematch, the big fight. Colby Covington is outspoken. Kamaru Usman is pound for pound one of the best. Yeah, it's going to be Kamaru versus Colby. That's going to be the main event.
Is there any sort of protocol in place? Wasn't it for a while the heavier fight?
It used to be a long time ago, the heavier the weights, because it kind of makes sense, but that kind of went out the window a while ago, and now it's kind of the biggest draw. Typically the men go last, unless like it's Ronda Rousey or Amanda Nunes even. So yeah, there's no strict protocol in place. It used to be according to the weight class. But yeah, I'd listen. I've got no problem if it's Glover versus Jan. That's a great fight. But if you ask me, Kamaru and Colby.
I agree with you completely. But I don't think anybody would have a problem with it. And it also wouldn't be super surprising if they ended up making it Glover versus Jan Blachowicz.
Yep. It's going to be a good fight, though. Last one was great. Kamaru and Colby was an awesome fight last time. Regardless of what you think about the booking, regardless of whether you think it should be happening or not, it is happening. That's a fact. And it's going to be a good one. Harrington, what else?
Well, I was going to say I'm really excited for Glover versus Jan Blachowicz. That fight is going to be bonkers. Absolute fucking bonkers.
Yeah, Glover's just fucking awesome. I mean, Jan, as we know, is a great champion, tremendous skills. Love the guy. We're going to get him back on and get some more Polish folk songs sung from him. But Glover's, come on, he's the man. He's been around forever. Such a great career. Love everything about him. Two gentlemen. Can't wait for it. Harrington.
All right, Cody Garbrandt is actually going to make that trip down to flyweight. Looks like they may be stacking that UFC 266 card. We have obviously Diaz Robbie Lawler just added. Now they're trying to get Kai Kara France and Cody Garbrandt. Yeah, it's official.
Kai Kara France, Cody Garbrandt. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Who did Cody just get beat? Oh, Rob Font. Was it Rob Font? Yeah, Rob Font just beat Cody. I felt for Cody in that one. I like Cody. He's a great fighter, but he had a tough night at the office there. I think just the reach and the jab of Ron Font was just too much. And I think that probably highlighted to him that he was a little undersized for the division. I mean, if you're talking about being a two-weight division champion, that's great. But it also highlights if you can make championship weight at the weight class below you relatively easy, then maybe you should be fighting there and there alone. Kai Kara France, yeah, that's a good matchup for Cody to go down there and make a stamp, make an impression. Not an easy fight, but not the hardest fight that they've got. Big opportunity for Kai Kara France as well. That'd be by far the biggest name that he's fought. So yeah, good stuff.
And also another big name for 125 pounds, Cody Garbrandt.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That division, considering it was almost done away with, it's got some decent names down there now. Obviously, we've got the champ, Brandon Moreno, Figueiredo's there, Cody Garbrandt. There's a few others that are missing, but still, yeah, good stuff. Harrington, just stay on the fucking screen, bro, because it's killing it every time. Just stay on the screen. You are hammer fisting. Stop with the 5-second delay, the coming on, the going off, all the rest of it. They're not responding in due time. Harrington, go.
Dustin Poirier joined the 20-win club this weekend.
4 seconds that time. 4 seconds between responding. Are we on a delay? I'd like you to say yes, because if we're not, I don't get it. Continue.
Okay. Dustin Poirier joined the 20-win club over the weekend. He's now 3 wins away from Donald Cerrone's record. Do you think he has a chance to break that record before his career is over?
Lewis.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, 3 more wins. I don't think that Dustin Poirier is going to be going anywhere within the next few fights. And I think I think Dustin Poirier is the next lightweight champion and will probably stay the lightweight champion for a hot minute, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's going to be fighting for a while. Yeah, I think what is he? I guessed his age the other day. And I think he's
35.
35. So he's got a few more years. Just look that up, Harrington. But I think he's in his early to mid 30s, pardon me. Yeah, why not?
32. I mean, he's 32. Younger than me.
Oh, so he's same age as Conor. That's right. So he's 32. Oh, dude, he's 32 years old. He's going to be around for a while. What's Cerrone got? 23?
Yes, Cerrone's at 23 right now.
Yeah. I'm there at 20 with George St. Pierre, John Jones, and someone else. At one point, I had the most in the organization, but I knew because I was retired that Cerrone and all these guys were going to leave me in the fucking dust. So thank you for that. But Yeah, maybe we see Dustin taking that one day. What else, Harrington?
All right, let's see here. Okay, did you see this? The 66-year-old woman whose birthday wish was to meet Khabib. She camped out outside of the UFC PI. A couple people caught onto it. They tagged Khabib in it. Dana White got involved, and we made some dreams come through for this woman's birthday.
Yeah, play the video, please, Brian. This is awesome. This is great of Dana to do this, by the way. We got volume. Yeah.
I'm going to tell him.
Is she from Kazakhstan?
Hold on, listen.
All right, you're a big Khabib fan, huh? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna get you to meet him, okay? I'll get you a meeting with Khabib.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, it's a popular narrative to talk shit about Dana, and maybe you agree with everything that he does, maybe you don't, and all the rest of it. And I know people are going to say, oh, you're just kissing his ass because you're a yes man for the company. Dana does a lot of great things for a lot of people. You're not going to agree with all his business decisions. He is the president of the company. You're not going to agree with it, but I'm telling you, for the position that he's in, he does use that to bring a lot of goodness. Oh, and here we are. Here's them together. I haven't seen this one. Press play, Brian, please.
Just a photo. It's a screen share.
Oh, just a photo. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a screen share from their FaceTime call.
That's amazing. And how amazing is it of Khabib? I mean, he's hot with the 66-year-old ladies. God bless him.
Yeah, I mean, what was really her wish? To meet Khabib? Or was it to meet Khabib's meat?
Yeah, no.
Maybe to
let's not disrespect her.
play with the shish kebab, yeah?
No. Don't do that. Don't disrespect a sweet 66-year-old lady standing in the heat.
Standing in heat. Really, Bisping? She was in heat, you're saying?
Standing outside the UFC offices with a sign like that to meet Khabib. I mean, that is going to extreme levels. You know what I mean? So Dana obviously heard about it, went outside, spoke to her, and got a meeting, got a FaceTime call. I mean, come on. It warms the cockles of your hearts, Lewis.
It warms somebody's cockles.
Yeah. All right. Is that about it, Harrington? It's not that funny. Is that about it, Harrington?
That was pretty
I got one more that's kind of interesting. Sean O'Malley, in his post-fight interview, called out most guys in the bantamweight division. One name that didn't leave his mouth, though, was Frankie Edgar. He's taking that personally. He says that this fight kind of makes sense. O'Malley just fought. He won pretty dominantly. He can be a matchup I can see happening maybe before this year ends. A lot of people have fights coming up, so if he's free and I'm free, it makes sense to me. Do you guys want to see O'Malley versus Frankie Edgar?
Oh, I don't know. No, I don't. That's a good call out for O'Malley because Frankie Edgar obviously has the name recognition. Come on, everybody knows Frankie. He's an absolute bloody legend of the sport. But again, best days are behind him. You just fought Chris Moutinho. Before that, it was Thomas Almeida, I believe. I want to see, of course, Frankie's still a contender. So what am I saying? I'm not trying to diminish Frankie at all. I would never dream of disrespecting him. I love everything about the guy. But, I think we might see Frankie one or two more times. 2, maybe 3 absolute tops. There will be the final fights of his career. You're a surging contender. I loved what I saw from O'Malley at the weekend. I thought that was some of the best striking we've seen, certainly in the bantamweight division. It was fucking amazing. The way he was moving, the shot selection, and just the smoothness of how he carried out those shots and executed his techniques. It was fucking beautiful. And I guess as a fan, I just want to see a real banger of a fight next time.
I mean, look, I disagree. I think that's a perfect call out. I think that's a perfect jump up in competition. Frankie's ranked number 7 at bantamweight. Finally fighting a ranked guy in the top 10 and a former champion in Frankie Edgar, who's going to always bring a hell of a fight. He has the perfect name recognition to get people really intrigued and really interested. And it's a perfect test. If he can beat Frankie Edgar, then I think you're like, all right, holy shit, this guy might actually be able to do something in the division. So I think it's absolutely the perfect fight.
Yeah, of course it is. That's why I said it's the perfect call out for Sean O'Malley. But I'm saying as a fan, it's not the fight I want to see because I know you're looking at his record. Click on Frankie Edgar's record. Been knocked out in his last 2 fights. You know what I mean? Bad knockouts. You know what I mean? Of course, because of the body of work that he has and the champion that he was and the fan favorites and just out of sheer merit, he is still ranked, of course. But the title aspirations are over. And listen, he's ranked there. So, of course, it would be a step up in competition. It's a great matchup. You never know. Frankie could take him down and you know, take away his hopes and dreams. But yeah, it's a smart call out for O'Malley, and it is a step up in competition. But I'm just like, I'd rather just see somebody that isn't getting knocked out recently. You know what I mean? It's the perfect call out for O'Malley. Of course it is. It's smart, smart business, but it's not what I want to see. I want to see him against Cody Garbrandt. That's the fight I want to fucking see. They were talking all that shit. They were comparing knockdowns. They went back and forth. That's what I want to see. I would love to see that fight. But of course, Cody's at 125. Harrington. Our boy Luke Rockhold made some noise as well this week. Let's sign off on this one. Luke Rockhold saying he wants to come back, and I think he's alluding to the fact that people are kind of ducking him, according to his language, I believe.
Yeah, so the quote is this: I ain't gonna take anything that doesn't excite me. I'm not just gonna step up and fight somebody that doesn't excite me or doesn't excite my fans. There's no point. I've been doing that. I've been the Strikeforce champion. I've been UFC world champ. I don't need to come back and fight some bum that doesn't fucking get me excited. I'd rather just not come back. If you want me to fight, give me something that excites me. I'm not going to wake up for some fucking chump who doesn't do anything for me. Get out of bed, work my ass off. Fucking 36. I've achieved these heights, and I want something that gets me excited. I believe I'm still one of the best guys in the world, and I came from the #2 spot in the world.
Can't disagree. Can't disagree with that. You know what I mean? He's very factual. And to be honest, you know, he still does have a lot of name recognition. We like to talk about him, sometimes like to have a bit of fun or whatever, but you can't deny what he said there. And of course, if he wants to come back and make a comeback, he doesn't want to come back and give someone else the opportunity to build off his name. He wants to come in, he wants to get a good win. He wants to challenge himself and put himself back in the spotlight against a ranked contender. So yeah, I mean, I get it.
I mean, who do you want to see Luke Rockhold come back against? I mean, and obviously, Luke's earned enough respect and enough, you know, being a former champion, doing what he's done in his career. You know, obviously, I think when we're talking earlier, as we contrasted with Aljamain, you know, Aljamain, I think is, you know, a new champion. I think he's sort of still trying to build that, you know, recognition, and especially with the circumstances surrounding him winning that title. I think Luke has sort of been there and done that. He's been the main event before. He's a former, you know, champion. So if he comes back, obviously he's going to come back to somebody that gets him up. But at what point, you know, you just want to see him come back. Who would you like to see Luke Rockhold come back and fight?
I mean, there's a few good. I mean, I'm looking at the rankings here, and there's so many good names, but there's one that really jumps out. This website is fucking awful, by the way, because I scroll down now. Well, let me scroll back up. This would be the perfect fight for Luke, and a fast track to the title. Marvin, the Dream, the Italian Dream, Vettori. Just lost to Adesanya. That's someone that you can get out of bed for, someone that's going to get you excited, and somebody that gives you a real fucking opportunity to leapfrog yourself back into the rankings. Darren Till would be awesome, but I believe he's fighting September 4th against Derek Brunson. Still waiting on clarification on that. You know, there's a few exciting fights. Whitaker, he's going to fight Adesanya. The one that I'm seeing, if you're him, if you're bloody Rockhold, and you want someone that's going to excite you, and someone that just lost, and I know Vettori would be confident in winning that fight. Obviously, when you look at Luke, he had a couple of knockout losses recently, and he hasn't had a win for a while. So Vettori, he looks as that as a big opportunity to beat a big name like Rockhold. For Rockhold, that's the perfect name to come back, beat someone that just fought for the fucking belt. Jesus Christ, maybe one more fight, and you're fighting for the belt.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that'd be fun. And to be honest with you, that's a winnable fight for Luke Rockhold. Winnable fight for Marvin Vettori as well. It's a very close fight. But I think that for Luke Rockhold, that is a fast track to a title shot, and also just a really exciting fight. What a great fight that would be.
Yeah, that'd be a great fight. And I don't think we'd see, I mean, Luke might try and take him down, but I think we'd see it play out on the feet. So, yeah, there you go. I'd like to see it. Joe Silva, Mick Maynard, Sean Shelby, if you're listening, give Luke a call. Tell him the Italian Dream is standing by on speed dial, ready to go. Anyway, right, I got things to do. I got places to be. I got people to see. Lewis with a finger up at the back.
Let me just say before we go, go to our iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating, positive review. Go to our YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification button, get a notification every time we go live. If you guys want the entire on-demand library, all in one place, ad-free and uncensored, go to gasdigitalnetwork.com. Use the promo code BYM. Get yourself a 7-day free trial. Live shows coming up this weekend. I'll be in Bridgeport, Connecticut, doing shows at the Stress Factory. Then I'll be in in San Diego next week at the American Comedy Company Comedy Store, Monday the 26th. Then I'll be down the shore at Uncle Vinny's in Point Pleasant, New Jersey at the end of the month. Go to lewisofskanks.com for tickets. And really, that's it. Bisping, bymmerch.com.
bymmerch.com if you want to grab this t-shirt or some Devil's Avocado shirts or whatever. And of course, myticket.co.uk if you want to see our show when we come to the UK later this year. But as we said, that's the end of the show. Thank you for tuning in. Tell your friends, subscribe, all that jazz. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the fights. We'll see you on Monday.